First of all, a huge thanks to Tony from SE Electronics, who sent us all these amazing microphones for this exclusive recording session. First, I want to talk about the kick drum. We're using the legendary Gemini 2, just to provide that kind of low-end bump.
On the toms, we've got the V Beat collection, which are part of the V Pack Arena, which also the V kick comes in. I think it's important to note that on the setting on the V kick, we have it set to a classic and classic setting. So we got, like I said, we've got the V Beats on the toms, and then on the snare as well, we're also running the V7X, which also comes in the V Pack Arena set, and we're using those as a dual combo to get that bite and sizzle out of the snare drum.
Switching across to the overheads, we're using the RNTs, which are tube condenser mics. This helps bring together the whole image of the kit and a perfect kind of piece of the puzzle. Moving on from that, we've got some auxiliary mics at the back, which are purely just taste mics, which in this case is an SE Ribbon VR2. We're using that to kind of add a little bit of special effects into the kit. Moving on, we've got some spot mics here, which provide a different image of the kit that helps towards the kind of low end and to bring that all together. I'd like to talk about these here, which are the T2 microphones. Now, they are set up in a vintage sound. We reverse these to get a little bit of a distant image to make it a little bit more vintagey, just to help that kind of snare and kick push along. Over here, we have the SE4400s, not too dissimilar to the silvers, which are the vintage, but the two complement each other perfectly. But these are set up in a wide configuration, so we can have much easier separation in the drums itself. Over here to the rooms, we're using the Z5600s. Stereo configuration, of course, helps pick up the whole entire image of the kit, and including the ambience of the room. Just want to bring your attention to this R&R microphone, which we're using here simply just as a texture mic, so we can kind of really sort of have a little bit of playful times with this. Moreover, I want to talk about some of the more auxiliary things that we've got going on here, which is microphones on walls, which looks a little bit bizarre, but these are purely to trigger reverbs and additional kind of sound sources that we want to. So, and we also have another one on the right of the kit, which is kind of doing the same thing, which is more picking up the reflection patterns from the studio itself, so we can kind of blend this into taste as we need it. So that's the kind of the whole image of the kit kind of done from there, and hopefully you'll be able to hear the results. Okay, so Pete's just been in there, he's just done the track, so we've got everything going on at once here. Let me just solo a few things. So the kind of typical scenario, we've got the kicks and the snares, a few sort of dB of compression on the way in, a little bit of tightening up of the EQ, that sort of thing. A few mics I do want to pick out, one being the wall reference mics that we talked about. Now these are little fun mics in addition, so we can trigger reverb from them. So we don't want any low end, we just want a little bit of mid-range and a little bit high end, because you don't want to trigger too much bass from reverb. I want to talk about those, and secondly the classic vintage mics, which are the silver T2s. These are great because it gives a wide image, but we also reverse them in the live room to kind of give a little bit of kind of separation and also a little bit of distance from the kit without actually moving the mics. So by reversing them, we gave a lot of space around the mic, and then adjusting the EQ to taste, kind of dulled them down like old classic mics. So that was that. And likewise with the modern mics, which are very similar but a lot brighter and a lot more punchier, that offer a little bit of a direct impact, so that the two, when you put them together, they create a nice even spread versus punch. So we really wanted that to go in. And the Gemini mic, which offers a little bit of kind of sub-information, which I really love the sound of that mic. I think it's got beautiful, beautiful low end, and it captures it really well. And the thing is when you put big condenser mics on kick drums, often it's a lot of kind of flabby sounds, but the Gemini really kind of nailed that sort of sound that I wanted in my head. So I'm very pleased with that.
This is really interesting for me to hear in the control room, because for the entire setup I was just sat in there just playing drums and letting them, you know, do their thing and try and get the mic set up in the way that we were happy with them. And it's really nice to come in here and hear how, like you said, with the wide mics, how they, you know, correlate to the overheads. And for me, what was interesting is to come in here and listen to the raws, and I'm just used to hearing the kit as a kit, and it is very good to hear how they pick that up naturally and it doesn't sound any different. I think from me personally, I know that Andy really likes the Gemini mic as one of the ones that he kept mentioning, but for me, I really like those vintage mics. For me, I don't know what it is about them, I just really love the tone. Those are kind of like my go-to. I would love to hear those, because we were talking about this the other day, I'd love to hear those on toms. So instead of using, you know, other mics, use those as spot mics on the toms and hear that, how that can, you know, make the kit really sing.
I think with these mics, the possibilities are endless. You know, you can use any mic in any format, you know, from their collection. You got the great Z5-600s, which I think are just outstanding. The Gemini mics, I'd love to try those as overheads or room mics. Sadly, I only had one of those, but I hope to get another at some point because they're just outstanding. Just generally, I think all mics speaks volumes, you know, and I don't think you'll be disappointed in any configuration. I think they stand up by themselves, but also all together. I think as a collection, as I said before, the possibilities are endless, really.